I think for us as Lanzerac, it's both an honor and a privilege. And but it also comes with a great responsibility because being part of an organization that's 50 years old, there's a lot of legacy and history that comes with that. And it's also the oldest wine route in South Africa. So if you have a flag bearer for an organization like that, it's also comes with responsibility to make sure that you keep on with the standards that were set in the early 70s when the route was started. I think in 1920, the first modern cellar was built on Lanzerac, and it's actually the building that you see behind me that got converted eventually. And there was a lot of firsts for Lanzerac. We did one of the first rosés in 1959, and all of that helps tell the story, because ultimately selling wine is through storytelling. And if you've got a rich history of a farm that's got over 300 years of history, there's always stories to tell, and there's new stories to tell. And that's why I encourage people to come and visit the farm, because each and every one of the team members have got a different story to tell. So I think being a formidable wine estate is a great privilege, even though we're not as big as some of the big wine estates when it comes to production, but we've got a big name with a lot of history that we cherish and try and keep up with what was done before us, but also create new legacy for the future. So for Lanzerac, it was from all sides, with alcohol bans and borders being closed and restaurants not being able to operate. So those first 3 months was intimidating, but I think with the team that we have, it was a great collaboration of seeing how do we do the best that we can within the limitations that were set for us. So we have great partners, both locally and overseas, that supported us through either wine sales, because exports was the first that opened up, and then the local community, as soon as we could start operating our takeaway menu first, and then opening up our deli and wine tasting, and eventually in 1st of September being able to open the hotel again. We had great local support. And I think that's probably the important thing that we've learned from this, is that you can never alienate the people that's closest to you. So having great relationships with your neighbors, for lack of a better description, but also great relationships with people that support you from overseas, has definitely made it easier for us as a team and as an organization to bear the brunt of COVID-19 and the limitations that is necessary, but the limitations that were set for tourism in general. The road is still long, but we are positive, and as long as we don't run out of ideas, I'm sure that we will continue the legacy of Lanzerac. I think the first thing I always tell people about Lanzerac is that everybody has a Lanzerac story. From Lanzerac Rosé from the late 50s, early 60s, it was a favorite amongst a lot of the South African public. And then through the years, a lot of firsts, honeymoons, weddings, birthdays. Everyone I speak to has got some sort of Lanzerac story. They will tell you about the cheese lunches. They will tell you about the tapes, where a lot of them came as students, and initially they were all forced to wear ties, so they had to be prim and proper when they come to the tapes bar. But everybody's got that little story to tell. But ultimately, I think what makes Lanzerac what it is the people. We've got a team that I think is more in love with the property than the people that visit the farm. And when we have the privilege of inviting new members to the team, I always warn them to say that you must be careful if you want to take this job, because a Lanzerac is going to get under your skin and you wouldn't want to leave. And I think it is that commitment from the team that exudes when they have the privilege to serve some of the guests that visit us. And then if you've got a happy team, the guests will experience that same happiness. And I think ultimately, despite all the refurbs that we've done in recent years, I think it's the team that honestly makes Lanzerac what it is.